What's up everyone, it's me Zombie, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made my Sukeban Sailor Mercury costume from Sailor Moon. Sukeban in Japanese means delinquent girl, or boss girl in a girl gang. To look like that we're all from the same girl gang, we agreed to get a cheap black or navy blue sailor uniforms on Amazon for about $25 each. I'll link the one that I ended up using right down below in the description box. This costume was easy to create, and I hope it gives you some ideas so you can make something cool of your own. We agreed that the costume should include lots of studs and the signature Japanese print on the skirt panels. Other than those guidelines, we were free to be as creative as we wanted with the costumes, which was awesome! For my costume, I decided that I wanted to remove the sleeves and add a torn sleeve look near the shoulders. I wanted to add studs on the collar and create a blue bow to add a feminine touch to the front of the uniform. To make my own bow, I used some 2mm foam and created a tube that was about the size of the bow that I wanted. I stretched some blue knit fabric over the tube and super glued it to the inside of the tube. I squished the tube down in the middle to make a bow shape, and to keep it in shape, I used some thread and tied it together. I created the bottom of the bow design by cutting out the shape of 2 pieces of knit fabric and then sewing them together to make a tube. I slipped some 2mm foam in the middle as a stabilizer. Now that I have my 2 bow pieces done, I used a small piece of knit fabric and wrapped them around the middle of the top and the bottom pieces. I adjusted them until I got my desired bow shape and then hand sewed them all together. And that's my Sailor Mercury bow. I hemmed the shirt to make it into a crop top, and then the top of the uniform was complete. The majority of this costume was just finding found articles that would work with the theme and modifying them. Mercury has a dark blue and light blue color scheme, so I picked some Bahama blue and white Angelus acrylic leather paint. I mixed those two together to get all of my hues in the middle. I ended up using this paint for a lot of the found items. I painted some cute wedge sneakers that I found in my blue colors, and I ended up really liking the result. I found some black shoelaces and decided to use those because they matched my black uniform. I modified a Nerf water gun and painted it with my Sailor Mercury colors. If you'd like to see how I modified and painted the base colors, you can check out the video right down below. After applying my base colors, I used burnt orange, dark brown, burnt sienna, and black acrylic paint to add rust and weathering details all over the water tank. In some areas, I pulled water onto my props and let the paint drip down. This gave the effect that the water had splashed over the collected rust and the residue was now pouring down my water tank and gun. I wanted the weapon to look like it had been through many battles, and I think I succeeded. Looking online, I saw that lots of Sukeban had weapons with chains attached to them. For the main tube that connects to my water gun, I used some foam dowels and glued them together. I made my tube long enough to where I had plenty of room to move around and so the tube wouldn't get pulled too much from being attached to my gun and my water tank. To tie this back into the girl gang theme, I found some plastic chain links that I had in my garage that I got last Halloween. I wove my foam tube in between the links and attached the foam to the gun, tank, and tube using some super glue and wire. My props are really rusty looking. To help the chain look like it had been worn down, I added some burnt orange and burnt sienna paint onto some parts of the chain to help it look rusted. The water tank used to be a part of a firefighter water gun toy that came with straps. I just painted the yellow ends of these straps black and silver to make them match. Now it's time for some easy leg warmers. I measured how big I wanted the length and the width of my warmers to be and sewed them together with my sewing machine. I hemmed each side and that's it! Easiest leg warmers in the world. Thanks to the Sailor Moon wiki, I was able to find some Sailor Mercury quotes in Japanese. I used leather paint and freehanded the quotes onto the skirt in a light and dark blue color. The last part of my costume was styling the wig. Sailor Mercury's hairstyle is fairly simple, so all I had to do was trim the bangs and shorten the length of the wig that I chose. I teased the hair in some areas to make it bigger and used hairspray to keep everything in place. And there you have it, there's my girl gang Sailor Mercury costume. It was so fun to make. But the group wouldn't have been possible without my friends Jerri, Mica, Barbara, Jessica, Alanah, and Riot. You probably know these guys already, but I'll link all their information below so you can check them out. It was so much fun running around with these guys for the afternoon in this group costume. I can't wait to do something like this again. I would love to know your ideas for a fun group cosplay or other franchises that you would like to gang girlify. I love hearing your ideas. Also, if you're making something, I'd love to see it. You can show me on my social media that I have listed below. Seeing what you've created really makes my day. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Bye everybody!